Hi everyone, it's your girl Karina. Aren't you excited? Because I'm finally catching up to all of the work that I have to do. Oh my gosh. I'm just not worried about the perfection because Lilith is going over my moon. So F perfection. Let's just get the message out, okay? And I'm going back through a lot of the comments as well and entering your Lilith requests. These will be very short videos because really it's the same energy, right? But it just has a little bit more oomph to it. And in this one, we're talking specifically about Lilith and Venus. Now I have a Lilith conjunct Venus video that I already put out. Check that one out. It's actually way more artistic than this one. But in this one, I want to talk about Lilith and Venus in a trine in the natal chart. I want to tell you guys that these people are some of the most famous people. And gosh, I hate to say that because there's actually a nakshatra that says the most famous. It has nothing to do with this placement. But it is very much similar in the sense that people who have Lilith, Trine, Venus have mastered the ability to make what seems to be not pleasant extremely pleasant. Let me give you some examples of some of these people. Some of these people are Madonna, okay? We also have Julia Roberts, okay? I think that there's something that's very interesting about these people is that typically you might see this with Saturn, but because Venus is exalted in Saturnian energy, I'm finding this pattern also with Venus trine Lilith, which basically is the teeth. Okay, so I'm finding that a lot of women and people who embody this energy, they might not always appear to be the most beautiful, right? And some of them have crooked teeth. But these are the things that actually make them actually very appealing and sexy. They might be trendsetters for the current moment that they are big, okay? The reason I say current is because Venus is connected to Libra in the sense of what is currently in trend, okay? The artist that is currently in trend. So they might be the ones that are uplifting a current trend when it comes to fashion. And it might be something that's very big or very against the grain. With Lilith, we're dealing with chaos, so they can also create their own sense of chaos in a lot of ways. Some of these people may not necessarily be marriage material all the time, okay? They may have been, they may have tried it, they might have unconventional relationships. They might even have long-term relationships, but there might be something about those relationships that aren't connected to what we normally see in traditions and going with the rule book, okay? They have a great capacity to make money based off of their looks, based off of their talents. With Lilith, we're dealing with deep energy. And then with Venus, we're dealing with very shallow energy. And then with the trine, we're dealing with lazy energy because they almost have these natural talents that they evoke from, a deep emotional place. So they may have these feelings of being an outcast or being something that, people may not like. But once they apply their almost gifted energy, right? It's a gift that they have to go out there, to be beautiful, to be artistic, to be talented, to give their spin on relationships, right? If they give any of these things to the world, then they manifest that trine and put it out into the world in such an empowering and beautiful way. It's almost as if these people can feel like they do no wrong, even though they may have wronged somebody, even though they may have done some ugly things to certain people. Some men that I want to bring up is Muhammad Ali and Jay-Z. So these two actually, Muhammad Ali, he's actually well adored. He was extremely adored, but he had fighting words, and yet it was charming, right? Jay-Z also, actually known not just for his relationship with Beyonce, but very big in the sense of being the one that caused hurt to her, but is able to transmute that energy, and people still love him. You know what I'm saying? Beyonce seems apparently to still love him. And also his ability to transmute his talents into something greater for his people or for his community, right? Really trying to take it to that level. So you can see with people who have Venus and Lilith in a trine, that they can be some of the most famous people. Now, there's other aspects that can also create the most famous quality, but this one evokes it so well. These people are naturally able to charm you with their talents. They have the ear, they have the sight, and they have the vision for what is beautiful, okay? And because it's Lilith energy, they're not necessarily pulling from what has been done already. They're not always pulling from, you know, a replica of other people. They might have their own way of being original in some ways. And you will see that the list goes on and on with a Venus trine Lilith. So all this means is that your Venus and Lilith are probably in the same elemental sign. So it can happen. It could show up very easily in people's charts, right? And if you have this, you just have to remember that you have to evoke this energy. You have to evoke the elemental energy. So since this already is a spin-off of a Venus conjunct Lilith, because it's almost the same energy, it's just resting, right? And it does have its own twist, but it's actually the difference is that conjunction can bring out still a deeper insecurity. But the trine actually is a gift, and it brings out a lot of the positive sides to the connection of of what could typically be a lot of disharmony. Anything that has to do with Venus and the moon, while we would typically think that this is where feminine energy rises, it is a very difficult energy to combine. Venus and the moon evoke the number 26 energy, okay? And I'll talk more about this in my numerology series, which will be coming. But 26 is a number that can lead to disharmony. Why? Because the moon energy wants to be, and then Venus wants to be doing and attracting and getting and chasing. And Venus, you know, so the moon is dope and Venus is dopamine. And sometimes you could just be dope. You don't need to add anything to you. But Venus is always like, you could add, you could upgrade, you could chase that bag, you could do these things. So sometimes when you have Venus and moon energy, which Lilith is considered moon energy, that it wouldn't work out well. So this is one of the placements where the moon and Venus, or Lilith and Venus, typically work out well. It's just that you have to awaken it. You have to evoke it. Now let's talk about the elemental differences, right? So if you have Venus and Lilith in an earth sign, then this is naturally going to be somebody who is manifesting money, okay? And the great thing about this is you might typically be very charitable, right? Or you might want to give money to the person who doesn't deserve it, or person who didn't really work hard for it. You may not abide by these rules that society has about money. And you might be extremely charitable. You might be somebody that wants to build communities in third world countries or something like that. Okay, because this energy really wants to manifest and build when we're having Lilith and Venus in earth signs. Now, Lilith and Venus in air signs, these people are huge for the media, right? And they might create their own broadcast. They might be somebody that creates a media channel or broadcast that is almost memorable, that lasts forever, or that is very famous, or that that gives a platform for people who do not have a voice. This could also be something that we see. Now, in the water sign, this is going to be where we find probably the most, I would say, chaos. So people with the water sign are great actors and artists and whatnot, because they're really pulling from a deeper sense of sensitivity, right? And they might also be dealing with insecurities. They might also be dealing with maternal figures. They may have been people who have had struggle in relationship with maternal figures, right? Or they may have been people who had incredibly influential maternal figures, right? Because the Trine brings the gift. So these people are very tapped into their feminine, no matter the gender. They're very tapped into the feminine. They want to give back to the feminine. They want to help out the feminine, okay? And then lastly, the fire signs. So fire sign Lilith, Trine, Venus is going to also be probably a little bit more chaos, right, than the air and the earth. So fire, Trine, Venus, water and fire, I think, are the ones who may battle more of their own inner chaos, right? Trying to seek the stability that will bring them to their greatness. And with this, it may also evoke the sense of aggression. They might evoke a sense of war, right? But they might bring out this adversity and war in a way that is very charming. Okay, they might bring it out in a way that makes people want to tune in, makes people excited to watch it, or brings people to the darker side of the fight. They might make it fun for people to choose sides, right? As you would in like a competition or watching a game, or like, you know, we're watching the Olympics now. It would be on our deeper side, but it's really helping people to evoke the parts of themselves that might, you know, deal with adversity, help people to deal with adversity. And these people might be ones who might be some great martial artists, right? This could also happen with the water element, but with the fire element, they're working on transmuting anger into something that is productive, useful, and brings them to extreme fame and extreme greatness. Okay, so I hope that this has brought you guys some insight into Venus Trine Lilith, and stay tuned for more Lilith videos. Peace.